When I was a young flutist, I didn't like it when I couldn't find core in my low register. I was frustrated when some of my low notes were fluffy or weak or inconsistent. Thank goodness I had a wonderful professor who showed me the light. Up until then, I had been following some old advice without doing personal sound experiments. But after I tried this professor's method and did lots of personal sound experiments, I realized that the opposite of what I had been trying for low notes was actually what worked for me. Remember, there are lots of different flute philosophies, but in this video, I'm excited to share with you some of the keys to low register that work for me and my students. I suggest you listen to the ideas, try them on your own, and see if you can find a richer, clearer, more stable low register that shows up for you every day when you practice. Sometimes the secret sweet spots in the low register are really secret, especially when it comes to low C and low B. Before we discuss what I think are some of the most important concepts to understand about the low register, I want to remind you that video 2 in this course is a more general and extensive look at flute tone, and video 1 is a great introduction to the ideas behind the concepts I'll be sharing here. Now, I want you to really think about something for a minute. Look inside your flute tone hole at the back wall, the wall that's the furthest away from you. This back wall tends to be anywhere from 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters tall. Only counting chromatic pitches, not even microtones, flutists have 39 pitches, if you're counting from low B to high D, that are commonly written in flute repertoire. 2 millimeters divided by 39 chromatic pitches is 0.0513 millimeters. Now, I'm not an acoustics of sound expert, but to me, that's proof that each pitch on the flute may be a lot closer to the others than you think it is. When I said in the last video that the most common mistake I notice flute players making is overblowing, often they are overblowing by mere fractions of a millimeter. Considering how close together the secret sweet spots are, do you get yet why I've been saying the only way you can find them is through listening? Micro steps are especially important when working on the low register. Very similar to the favorite note exercise I taught you in video 2 on flute tone, I'd like to teach you now a simple exercise that's very powerful. I call it, How Low Can You Go? Find a good model note and then slur chromatically down as far as you can go before you notice any color changes or volume changes. As usual, I like to flutter and sing to find my nice model note. I often move my singing around to wake up my sound. Now I'll slur chromatically down. Oop, a little air bubble and a color change around E and E flat. Let me try again, and I'll be very mindful around E and E flat, continuing the smooth color path that I started from the B. need to try a couple of times each day, or maybe you'll try 100 times, but it's very worthwhile to play how low can you go and realize how easy it is to go from a model note all the way down to low B. There are no major shifts or changes required. Let's talk about hot and cold air. Hold your hand pretty close to your face and blow some hot air on your palm. Notice how your jaw naturally hangs open, how your throat softens, and there's very little tension, if any. Now blow some cold air. Notice how that airstream is a lot faster, how your lips naturally kick in to help aim the air. Way too many flutists get stuck upside down like I did, thinking that hot, slow, sleepy air is the way to play low register pitches on the flute. If you use sleepy, kind of poofed out air for the low register, you will probably get fluffier and fuzzier as you go lower. Before that professor helped me understand that fast, steady, more upfront, lip-oriented air is a better tool for clarity and accuracy in the low register, I thought fast air was only for high notes. Spoiler alert for video 5. Believe it or not, I now use hot, sleepy air for the high register. If you don't get that or understand it at all in this moment, it's okay. Just stay tuned for video 5. As you're practicing how low can you go and favorite note exercises in the low register, keep returning to blowing on your finger to make sure you are blowing fast, downward aimed air. It may or may not literally feel cold when you blow on your finger, but if I say cold air from now on, you'll know what I mean. When you want to play a beautiful low register melody, lack of clarity or consistency can be frustrating. Here's a fun way to activate your air, getting it smoother, faster, and steadier for richer, clearer low notes. Instead of blowing into the tone hole like you normally would, move your flute to the side and blow on the smooth metal part. Listen for the sound of your airstream. Can you make it smoother? Can you make it steadier? Can you make it a bit louder? Go back and forth between air flute and playing the as written melody. Press pause on this video and try it with this opening melody from Scarborough Fantasy. Anytime you want richer, clearer low notes, activate your air, make it smoother and steadier by playing air flute. Busy brain is easily activated when you aren't satisfied with your tone. A great way to get out of your head, into your body, and have clearer, more beautiful low notes is to activate your core support. To activate your core right now, let's try 2 different hissing exercises. First, simply hiss like a snake. Now let's hiss again and take special care to notice what your tummy muscles are doing, your core muscles. You notice how they are naturally engaged, they naturally compress inward, It's not as intense as a sit-up or a push-up. It's just organic engagement of your core muscles. Remember this feeling for our next hissing exercise. Now, this one is not so much about your embouchure, so don't think that this is the way that you form your lips, but we are going to hiss like a snake into the tone hole. We can use the same melody from the beginning of Scarborough Fantasy. This can help you feel the combination of engaging your core muscles and keeping that smooth, steady airstream at the same time. I encourage you to pause the video again and practice first hissing, feeling your tummy muscles, then hissing into your flute, playing the Scarborough melody, then going back to as written. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy the results. If you've still got the busy brain, low register blues, remember there's always a way to ditch busy brain and move toward sing-along surrender. Here's my favorite exercise to get your sing-along surrender groove going in the low register. Take any melody or passage that you want to enliven, enrich, or polish, and play it up the octave. Play it up the octave twice, as written once, then rinse and repeat. If you're patient and willing to improve just a little bit each time, you'll notice your low register gets more accessible with each round of the exercise. Be willing to play this exercise as many times as it takes for you to feel really good about your low register. Perfectionist trap alert. If you're not loving your low register yet today, you may be tempted to fall into a very common trap of way too smiley corners or squeezing your flute or jamming it into your face, just trying to force those low notes out. I highly recommend that you keep collecting better clues throughout the duration of this course. Clues on breathing, supporting, even the embouchure basics from video 2 on tone. Never fall into the trap of thinking that tension is the answer. Short-term gratification through tension has long-term ripple effects. Something I haven't described yet in this course about myelination is my very strong belief about how it works. I believe that when we practice our flutes, we are not just programming in fingerings, tone, rhythms, articulation, and other muscle memory oriented elements. We are also programming in the mental and emotional states we were in while we're practicing. If you are frustrated, squeezing your flute or forcing your low notes to come out, you are programming in frustration and tension. If, on the other hand, you are non-judgmental and stay in the worlds of sound and feeling, you will program in a much better low register psychology. In videos 6 and 18, when we explore flute breathing and flute body mapping, we'll talk about how breath support plays a key role in a gorgeous low register tone. But for now, keep using your favorite notes as models to upgrade the low notes that aren't your favorites yet. Doing this will help you keep a more optimistic attitude and lead toward higher quality myelination ripple effects. Every day, after I've practiced my epic warm-up, I practice the closer sweet spot long tones. Even though I wrote the exercise and I'm the one explaining the closer sweet spots to you, I still need the repetition of a daily routine to help my ears, embouchure, tongue, and mind remember just how close those sweet spots are. In each line of the warm-up, there is a primary note. I'll play the line starting with B natural for you here in a moment. The first measure includes one half step up from the B and then back down. Then the second measure has a triplet circling around the B. The third measure has a quintuplet with a little bit wider range circling around the B. And then the last measure is a sustained B natural. It's so interesting to me how much easier it is to play the line in one breath when the tone is centered and the half steps are based on listening rather than accidentally overblowing and moving too far away from the primary note. Remember, we're talking about micromillimeters here. Playing this exercise every day is an excellent way to train yourself in the low register. Try it daily for 1 week and then let me know if you have any questions. If you're interested in going over some embouchure and head joint placement basics, revisit the video on tone. But for now, I'd like to give you a bonus tip that can really help you in the low register. In addition to feeling the edge to edge connection with your tone hole, edge of your lip to the edge of the tone hole, it's a really good idea to feel the seal. So if you feel a connection with your lip plate all the way across, it can facilitate a much clearer sound than if you were pulling back, not feeling the seal, because there's a lot of air that would leak out the sides. So in addition to the embouchure basics in the video on tone, video 2, you can add feel the seal. Perhaps the trickiest aspect to the low register is how quickly the clarity of sound disappears, even if you're a little bit out of flute shape. For this reason, I am combining the ideas of being radically flexible and collecting your clues in this one powerful tip. Let yourself warm up rough. Part of the reason traditional long tones and other exercises were so difficult for me as a younger flutist was my absolute disappointment with any note that wasn't perfectly clear. I completely missed the fact that warming up is supposed to help you find your clarity for the day. When you are in awesome flute shape as a result of consistent practice, there may be days in which you get your flute out of the case and just sound awesome. But most of the time, a good warm-up is what you need to get in the zone with your low register. If you let yourself warm up rough and allow time and space to access the clarity you prefer to have for the rest of your flute playing day, you will be primed and ready to collect more clues for your sound sheet as your tone comes into focus. Especially if you are used to sleepy, slow, hot air approach to the low register, it may seem strange to try experiments with more embouchure engaged fast air. Embracing the tension of opposites and accepting that things are mysterious until they're not. Keep in mind that as you warm up, play how low can you go and favorite note exercises, the clarity in your low register might flicker in and out. Rather than insisting on black and white thinking, throwing up your hands and just saying, I'm having a bad low register day, keep finding those model notes and training your ears, lips, and air, not only to find the secret sweet spots, but to remember where they are. If you're enjoying this course so far and want to find out more about my other resources, read the information below this video to find some helpful links.